pupils, parents, and guardians. Let me start by thanking you for being a part of all our remote learning platforms, particularly our television program, The Classroom in Your Home. Each feedback has been awesome. Good job, you. Our teachers have been working assiduously to bridge the learning loss during this critical period. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the Classroom in Your Home has been extended to accommodate the lower primary classes and a dedicated lesson to cater for our special needs pupils in line with our mandate of providing an all-inclusive and quality basic education in our dear state. Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At LASUBEB, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.
Hello pupils, you're welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home, a program organized by the Lagos State Government and packaged by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. It is to ensure that you're academically engaged in addition to what you're learning in school. I am Auntie Fumi, your English Studies teacher, and as usual, I have with me your wonderful teachers.
Hello children, I am your mathematics teacher, Uncle Agbaji, but you know me as the mathematician.
Uncle Popo is here, your general studies teacher.
And we also have with us here our beautiful sign language interpreter, Auntie Rosemary. And together, we are bringing the classroom into your home. Please stay tuned. Pupils, you are welcome to Auntie Fumi's class. In our English Studies lesson today, we'll be looking at formation of adjectives from nouns. Formation of adjectives from nouns. You know what adjectives are, and you know what nouns are. I'm sure, yes, because you are brilliant children. But today we'll be forming adjectives from nouns. But before we go into that, let's have the correction to our previous homework. In our last lesson, where we looked at possessive nouns, you were asked to write the plural of each of the following. You were asked to write the plural forms of each of the following. The dog's tail, the man's hat, the child's foot, the mouse's hole, the policeman's cap. Did you do your homework? Are you sure? Then let's have the correction now. Be ready to mark? Auntie Fumi got 5 out of 5. What about you? Are you sure? Then I'm proud of you. You deserve to be celebrated with a chair. Good job, you. Now to the learning objective for today's lesson. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to say the rules in forming adjectives from nouns. Don't forget I said today we are going to form adjectives from nouns. So the number one learning objective is that you should be able to say the rules in forming adjectives from nouns. And you should also be able to form adjectives from nouns correctly. You must be able to say the rules, and you must be able to form adjectives from nouns correctly. Children, are you ready? Then let's begin. We are going to start with what an adjective is. What is an adjective? Oh, you're telling me in chorus. You're saying it together. I know you're brilliant because you know what an adjective is. An adjective, of course, is a word which describes a noun or a pronoun. An adjective is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. Adjective is a beautiful lady. What is the adjective there? Beautiful. Yeah, you're beautiful too. Thank you. So we have examples like beautiful, good, bird, lazy, tall, short, and so on. So you know what an adjective is. Now, another simple question is, what is a noun? Really, I trust you. I know you all know what a noun is. A noun refers to the name of a person, animal, place, thing, or an event, or even an idea. So you all know you have examples of what a noun is, or examples of noun. Are they dog, Ikeja, pencil, party, Badagry, and so on and so forth. So I've been able to refresh your memory on what an adjective is and what a noun is. Now, let's go to the rules in forming adjectives from nouns. I told you we're going to form adjectives from nouns. What are those rules in forming adjectives from nouns? When we want to change a noun to an adjective, or want to form an adjective from a noun, what are those rules guiding the formation of adjectives from noun? Are you ready? Let's go there. We're going to talk about the suffix. That is the last letters. The last letters after a root, after a word. Then the rules or the exception. Then we'll have example of words and their adjective forms. That is example of the nouns or the words in nouns and the adjective forms. Are we ready? Good. This is a suffix, y. Y, letter Y. What is the rule? The rule is that you should add Y as a suffix. You add Y as a suffix. And if the ending of the word has an E, you remove it before you add Y. Look at these words. They are nouns. Example of nouns. Or they are nouns. Hair, gloss. Now to form an adjective from hair and gloss. This is what you have. Adding Y. Hair becomes hairy. Gloss becomes glossy. Hair becomes hairy because you added what? The suffix Y. Letter Y. Hair becomes hairy and gloss becomes glossy. Are we together? Do you get that? Okay. In adding Y as a suffix, if the word has an E, you remove it and you add Y. Is that taken? Let's move on. Another suffix is AL. AL, that's another suffix. What is the rule or the exception? When you want to add AL as a suffix, if the ending has an E, you remove it and you add either AL or IAL or UAL. Do you get that? When you want to use AL as a suffix, I'm taking it again. Look out for the word. If the ending has an E, you remove it and you add AL or IAL or UAL. Let's have examples of those words. Tragic, nature, intention, concept, commerce, finance, fanatic. Let's form adjectives from these words. Tragic becomes tragical. We're adding AL. Nature ends with an E, and we're removing the E. That is what the rule says. And we're adding AL to make it natural. Intention. We had AL and it becomes intentional. Concept. Concept becomes conceptual. Because you cannot say conceptual. Becomes conceptual. We are adding UAL. We already have that rule before. Commerce. Commerce. Cannot say commercial. It ends with an E, and we are removing the E and we are adding IAL to make it become commercial. Finance is another word that ends with an E. So we're removing the E and we are replacing it with IAL to make it financial. And the last one, fanatic. We're adding AL and it becomes fanatical. So we've been able to form adjective from these words using the suffix AL or IAL or UAL. Are we together? Well done. Another word, another suffix is LY. LY. What is the rule? You add LY as a suffix when you want to form some adjectives from noun. Look at example of the words. Noun, the example of noun. Earth, endearing, kind, time, mature. So we want to form adjective from these words. And what is the rule? What is the suffix that we're adding to make the words become adjectives? ly. That is the suffix. ly. Let's see. Health becomes healthly. ly has been added. Enduring becomes enduringly. Kind becomes kindly. Time becomes timely. Matured becomes maturely. Now we've been able to change these words that are nouns to adjectives. Good job, you. Well done. Now let's move to examples of adjectives formed from nouns. Examples of adjective formed from a noun. Are you ready? It's quite interesting. Let's say man. That's a noun. When you want to change it to an adjective, it becomes what? Manly. Yes, manly. Girl. Girl. Girl becomes girlish as an adjective. Girlish. Trouble becomes, everybody, you all know what it becomes as an adjective. Troublesome. Yes, you're right. Becomes troublesome. Gold becomes golden. Well done. Human becomes humanly. Yes, you're right. It becomes humanly. Danger becomes dangerous. Accident becomes, we've said it before, accidental. Yes, accidental. Length becomes lengthy. Well done. More examples are courage becoming what? As an adjective, it becomes courageous. Storm becomes stormy. Envy, envious. Advice, advisory or advisable. Sense, senseless or sensible. I believe you're all sensible. Good. Laugh, laughable. King, kingly. Nature, natural. Now it's activity time. Did you have fun forming adjectives from nouns? I did too. So it's time to test how attentive you have been in the course of the lesson. You are to form adjectives from the following nouns: advice, abortion, accept, wonder, use. You have 40 seconds to do that, and your time starts now. Eyes on me. You're welcome back. By now, you should have been able to form adjectives from the given nouns. Very easy. Yeah. So let's do the correction together. Advice becomes advisable. Abortion, abortive. Accept, acceptance. Wonder, wonderful. Use, useful, or maybe useless. Do you write that? Anyone who do too. And before me got 5 out of 5. What about you? Are you sure? Then you need to be celebrated with a chair. Good job, you. To your assignments now. You know, Auntie Fumi doesn't joke with assignments. So, your assignment for this lesson is that you should form adjectives from the following nouns. Satisfaction. Are you writing it down? Please write. Form adjectives from the following nouns. Satisfaction, sweetness, height, favorable, and education. You have the 5 written down? Well done. And that's it for today. We have come to the end of the English Studies lesson for today. We looked at formation of adjectives from nouns. I believe you had fun learning. I enjoyed it too. It is time for me to hand you over to the mathematician, Uncle Agbaje, for another fun-filled mathematics lesson. But don't forget, Auntie Fumi is always proud of you. Bye.
Hello, children. You are welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time. That means we are going to be having some fun. I am Uncle Agbaje. We are still continuing our work on financial mathematics, the money math. Today, we'll be looking at currency conversion. Perhaps you have an idea of what that is all about? Well, before we go into it, we'll look at the correction to that previous homework that was given to you. You were to find the total dividend to be paid on 300 2.50 Kobo shares sold at par if the dividend rate is 4.5%. So we just move right into the solution. Now we know that the value of one share is 2.50 Kobo. And then how many shares altogether? There were 300 shares, so we need to find the total share value. And that means 2.50 Kobo in 300 places. That is 2.50 Kobo times 300. So we just multiply out the numbers and we get 750 naira. I trust you did this. I wouldn't want to waste too much time on explaining how we got this. So we get 750 naira. That is the total share value. But that is not the answer. We were to find the dividend to be paid on that. But what is the rate of dividend? The rate of dividend is 4.5%. So the dividend rate is 4.5%. And that means that the dividend itself will be 4.5 of the total share value. 4.5% of the total share value. Now, changing 4.5% to fraction, we'll get 9 all over 200. And then the total share value is 750 naira. Now, let's work this out. By the time we divide all this, we are going to be getting 33 naira 75 kobo. Like I said, I believe you have worked this out and I wouldn't waste too much time explaining how we got all this. So if you have gotten it right, then I will celebrate you with a chair. Now, moving on to today's learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to convert the naira to other currencies. You should also be able to convert other currencies to the naira. So we're still working with money. Now we're looking at what amount exchanges for what amount currency conversion. So let's get started right away. So what is currency? Currency is a medium of exchange for goods and services. If you go to the market and you want to buy something, probably you want to buy some textbooks or stationery for school, you get this from the store and you have to give something in return. What you're giving in return is currency. The same thing applies to when you render a service. Perhaps you wash the car for your parents and they want to reward you. They have to give you something, And what they give you is currency. So basically currency is money. Currency is money in the form of paper or coins. Usually it is issued by the government. You cannot sit down in the comfort of your own house and start making currency. You know, we used to do that thing when we were young. We cut paper and write the amount that we like on top, but it's not a legal thing that you can't take that to the market to buy anything. So government is the one that produces the currency, and it is accepted as a means of payment in some defined countries or in some defined regions. So what currency is accepted here may not be acceptable in another country. So now different countries, of course, have different currencies that they use. You'll come across some of them very soon. But there are some there are occasions where you have some countries coming together to use a common currency. We'll talk about all that. These currencies are exchanged when trading occurs between these countries. You know, Nigeria uses a currency, the US uses another currency. We have different currencies. Now, when we want to buy and sell, you know, we export crude oil to the US. What is the medium of payment? Are we going to pay them with our own currency, even though it's not in use in their own country? We'll resolve all this, and that's why we're studying this. The following is a list of some countries and their currencies. Of course, we know that in Nigeria we spend the naira, and the smaller aspect of the smaller part of the naira, which is the kobo. In the US, they spell dollars and cents. In Japan, they spend the yen. United Kingdom, they spend the pound sterling. In France, they spend the euro, which is the currency for the European Union. So you look at some of these currencies. Of course, you're familiar with some of the currencies denominations that we spend in Nigeria. This is the naira, 1,000 naira, 500 naira. You have basically everything here, yes, except of course the coins. Have you seen the coin, Nigerian coin, before? So this is the American dollar. You have George Washington, I think, yes, on that. This is just $1. This is what the British pound looks like. It's all about the royal family. You have the Queen, and that's the British pound. Then you have the Chinese yuan here. Usually countries put the faces of their leaders, ex-leaders, you know, people who have worked for the improvement of the country on their notes, much like we do in Nigeria as well. This is the euro. The euro is the currency that is acceptable in the European Union countries that are in Europe. So that's what the euro looks like. You have 10 euro, you have 20 euros, 200 euros, like that. Now, I was talking about trade between two countries. Nigeria spends the naira. America spends the dollar. Now, if America wants to purchase, the US wants to purchase something from Nigeria, say crude oil, for instance, they have to pay. Where will they get the naira to pay? They don't spend naira. And if they give us their own dollar, we don't spend the dollar here in Nigeria. So how do we go about resolving this little problem? That is where you are important, my friend, my dear mathematician. You are going to be able to do the conversion for us, and there will be no problem with trade. Now, a decision is made as to what value of one currency should be exchanged with another, because usually we don't have a case where 10,000 naira is not the same as $10,000. Some currencies are stronger than some other currencies, and that will depend on how strong or how weak the economy of the economies of the countries that are trading is. So, for example, a country like the US has a stronger economy than that of Nigeria, so their currency will be stronger than ours, and that means, in simple language, more of our money will be traded to get less of their own. You will see the currency conversion table. So this exchange medium, this amount that determines what amount of money in one currency will be exchanged for another in another country, is what is called the exchange rate. And so that exchange rate guides us. So when you have 1 naira, you are able to determine how much dollar it is worth. Okay, so the following shows a list of tables of currencies, that is current exchange rate by the Central Bank of Nigeria. This is quite current for November 2020. Okay, so these are all for naira to other currencies. For example, look at the Swiss franc. The Swiss franc, if we are buying it, if we are going to get the Swiss franc, we'll pay 415 naira. If we're selling for 416 naira, that's the exchange rate. The US dollar is bought for 379 naira presently, and it's sold for 380 naira. And what that means is that if you have $1, it is the same thing as 379 naira of our own money. It's like saying that the U.S. economy is about 379 times stronger than the Nigerian economy. Okay, so we hope that with time and with better government policies, the Nigerian currency, the naira, will get stronger and will be able to compete favorably with some of these currencies that you see. So, but basically, a lot of them are worth more than the Nigerian currency, the naira. You have the pounds selling 502 naira. We have the euro, 448 naira. We have the yen, the Japanese yen, 3 naira, 64 and kobo and so. Then you have this one. The CFA is actually less than the so Nigeria's currency is stronger than that, and like that, and like that. So let's now look at some actual problem solving. You know, enough with the stories. I believe that you have that background now. So our problem is to change one currency to another. To convert a foreign currency, if the currency is stronger than the naira, then we multiply with the exchange rate. But if it to naira, if you want to change the currency to naira, you multiply. But if you want to change naira to that currency, you will divide by the exchange rate, provided that that currency is stronger than the naira. So it's all intuitive. There's nothing to put to head or to cram here. It is quite intuitive. Let us see an example. This says convert $500 to naira based on the selling rates on the table that we saw previously. I'll bring that table again. This is the table. Now we want to convert what? $500. So we look for the dollar table, because this is the number 3 is the US dollar, and buying rate is 379, selling rate is 380. So we want to change it to naira, and that means that we are selling $1. So selling rate of $1 is 380 naira. Now if $1 is 380 naira, $2 would be 380 naira in 2 places, $3 would be 380 naira in 3 places, like that, like that. So $500 would be 380 naira in 500 places, and that means 500 times 380 naira. 500 times 380, and that's exactly what we're going to be multiplying. And so to multiply 500 by 380, I'm just going to work with the significant digits. Let me select a white pen here. Okay. Now I will just multiply 5 by 38 and add the zeros. So I write 38 and I write 5. And I partition this with diagonals. 8 times 5 is 40. 3 times 5 is 15. Add along the diagonal 0. 4 plus 5 is 9. Then I have 1. So I have 190. Then I still have 2 zeros here and 1 0 here. And that should be 190,000 naira. That's exactly the answer. Let's see. So, and then we'll say that, the value of $500 then is 190,000, and that means that if you have $500, it's not the same thing as if you have 500 naira. 500 naira will probably buy you what, a drink, a good meal in a good restaurant. But if you have $500, it's as good as having 190,000 naira. That can pay your school fees for like 2 terms, 3 terms, depends on the school that you're going. But 500 naira will not pay your school fees. So you need to get your conversion rates right. Now let's check out a different example, an example of a different type. How much should the businessman get in exchange for 950,000 naira in dollars if the exchange rate is 380 naira to the dollar? Now this man has 950,000 naira. He wants to change it to dollars, and the exchange rate is 380 naira. So what do? Do we still multiply? No, we do not multiply. This actually is a division problem, because if you have 950,000 naira, remove 380 naira, that's $1. Remove another 380 naira, that's another $1. You keep removing 380 naira, and so we keep doing that until we exhaust the money. And when you have repeated subtraction like that, we have said that repeated subtraction is the same thing as division. So instead of doing that, we simply divide 950,000 naira by 380. and that will give us the required amount in dollars. So let's quickly do that. 950,000 times 380. Okay, so which method should we use? So let's go here. 950,000 divided by 380. You know what? I'll let 10 cancel 10. I will now divide 95,000 by 38. 95,000. Now remember that method of repeated subtraction that I taught you? Let's have 38 times 1 here. That's 38. 38 times 2. That is 76. 38 times 5. Well, half of this is 19. Then we add 0. So these are the three numbers that we need. Now, using that, I can put 76 here. And that is 38 times 2. And I put 3 zeros here, and then I put 3 zeros here. So subtracting 0, 0, 0. Borrow 1 from here, I have 8. 15 minus 6 is 9. Then 8 minus 7 is 1. Now, I can put 190 here, 190. And that 190 is the same thing as 38 times 5. So adding 2 zeros here, I will add 2 zeros here. Now, subtracting 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So we are done. And so this is what we need to add, 2,500. We get 2,500. That is the final answer. So going back to that our previous page. So we see that when we divide, we get $2,500. And what that means is that 950,000 naira is the same thing as 2,500 pounds. So we have looked at an example where we have to change other currencies to naira by multiplying and naira to other currencies by dividing. Let me give you one for you to do. This question says, convert $1,500 to naira if the exchange rate is 379 naira to the dollar. Now you are going to change $1,500 to naira. Is it a multiplication problem or is it a division problem? That's up to you to decide. I'll give you 1 minute, 30 seconds. Begin. Alrighty then, I believe that you are done with the work. Was it a multiplication problem or division problem? Let's see which one it is. If the rate of the dollar is 379 naira, we want to change $1,500. $1 is 379 naira. $2 will be 379 naira in 2 places. $3 will be 379 naira in 3 places. $1,500 will be $379 in 1,500 places. And that is 379 times 1,500. So it's a multiplication problem. But how to multiply? Let's just multiply the significant digits. 15 times 379. We will do that on the workboard here. 15 times 379. So it's a multiplication problem. 379 15. And I divide, put a line in between each number, and I put diagonals like this. And now we're ready. 9 times 1 is 9, so I write 09. 9 times 5 is 45. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 5 is 35. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Then I add along diagonals. 5 here. 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 plus 5 is 18. I carry 1 to the next diagonal. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 5 is 16. I carry 1 to the next diagonal. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. I have 0 here and it's not important. So I have 5685, but I will need to add those two zeros. 5,685. 5685. And then, of course, we had these two zeros and we have 568,500 Naira. And that is the exact value of $1,500 if this is the exchange rate. I believe that you got that right. But if you did not, you will have another question to practice with for the assignment, which, of course, you have gotten a sneak preview, but it's coming up right about now. A semester tuition fees in a university in the USA is $8,000. How much is this in Naira, given the exchange rate of 380 Naira to the dollar? Your time starts now. You have 20 seconds to copy. Alrighty then, we have come to the end of the mathematics lesson for today. We'll see again in the next lesson to continue our work on financial mathematics, the money maths. It's time for me to hand you over to Uncle Pupo for the general studies lesson. Till I come your way in the next lesson, remain wonderful mathematicians. Bye-bye now.
Hello, pupils. You are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. Uncle Popo is here.
I am also here.
Good. We are here together.
100% attention.
Excellent. 100% attention is what I'm demanding from you. Our subject for today is social studies. Social studies is the subject. We want to learn a very interesting topic today. In our last lesson, we talked about resource development. Then we talked about different minerals that we have in Nigeria: petroleum, coal, tin, and we defined resource development as the transformation of resources to things that we make use of in our society or in the country. Today, we want to move further to another interesting topic, and the topic is utilization and management of resources. Utilization and management of resources. Let's look at the learning objective first. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain utilization of natural resources and say the importance of natural resources in national development. Now, let's begin. What is utilization and management of resources? Utilization and management of resources means using resources carefully to meet the desired needs of the society. Utilization and management of resources means what? Using resources carefully to meet the desired needs of the society. Just like your parents provide certain utensils or certain tools for you, then you try to maintain and try to manage it carefully. Your parents will be happy and you can get more other things from them. This is just something of that nature that we want to talk about, how to manage and how to carefully maintain anything that is in our possession. Now, let's look at natural resources. Natural resources are the things that are provided by nature. It's not that we have some group of people that created or made those things. We just have it as a blessing in our country. What are the two headings? The first one is renewable natural resources. Say that. Renewable natural resources. What are we talking about there? And the second one, before we talked about renewable, is non-renewable natural resources. Say that. Non-renewable natural resources. Those are the two headings. Now, let's talk about renewable natural resources. Renewable natural resources are those resources that cannot finish or get reduced through usage. No matter how you use it, no matter how you have a great number of people that are using those resources we are talking about, it cannot get reduced and it cannot, you cannot finish it. That's what we mean by renewable natural resources. What are those resources that we cannot finish and it cannot be reduced? Let's look at those resources. Now, for example, the usage of ocean water for transportation or usage of sunlight in producing solar energy. You can see that we cannot finish it no matter how we use it. Ocean. Have you seen the picture of ocean before? Just like you are seeing it here. No matter how you use it, you cannot reduce it and you cannot finish it. Likewise, the sunlight. So that's you cannot finish all those ones. You can now see. Now let's look at the second one, non-renewable natural resources. Non-renewable natural resources are those resources that can be reduced and therefore can finish as a result of usage. The first one, you cannot reduce it and you cannot finish it. That's renewable natural resources. The second one are those resources that can be reduced and therefore can finish as a result of usage. What are the examples? Let's look at this. We have petroleum, gold, iron ore. All these, the more they are mined, the less the volume of quantities available beneath the earth. So when we use it every time, it can be reduced and it can also be finished. So let's look at the importance of natural resources in national development. Importance of natural resources in national development. What are the importance of all these natural resources that we see as blessings to our country? What are the importance? One, infrastructural development. Say that. Infrastructural development. That's one of the importance of natural resources in national development. The petroleum, coal, columbite, tin, all these natural resources are blessings and we are making more money. We export some to other countries. We make use of some in our country and it's providing more money for the government. The money we get from all this, government uses the money from there to develop, to build schools, to construct more roads, hospitals, and from there, the citizens are enjoying because of the money those resources are fetching the government. That's infrastructural development. Second one is employment. Say that. Employment. That's another importance of natural resources in national development. We have many people, many citizens that are being employed in different categories. The miners, we have people that are mining gold. Those are working in petroleum industry. We have people in different areas. Because of the natural resources we are blessed with, we have different people working in different areas. And it's providing employment for the citizens. Citizens are gainfully employed. And when they are gainfully employed, they can also give back to the society and contribute their own quota to the development of the society. In one word, another importance of natural resources in national development is employment. Next one is foreign exchange. Say that. Another importance of natural resources in national development is foreign exchange. We exchange all our resources, some of our resources to other countries. Like our petroleum, we export some of our resources to other countries. You know, I told you before that not all the countries are blessed with the same natural resources. We have some other countries that are in need of what we have as blessing here, but they do not have it. But we now try to sell it to those countries and we get money from there. So it serves as foreign exchange. Like our petroleum, we are getting money. Our rubber, our tin, our coal, we send it to other countries. We export those goods and we get money from there. So foreign exchange is another importance. Next one is raw materials for industries. In our last lesson, we talked about that the industries are solely depending on the raw materials they get to produce their products. So these resources are serving as raw materials. They are used as raw materials for other industries to produce their goods. In the last lesson, I talked about cocoa. We have different industries that are making use of cocoa to produce the beverages we drink. So cocoa is raw material, and we have rubber, we have tin. All these are raw materials to some industries, and they are making use of those materials to produce their own goods. In one word again, raw materials for industries is another importance. Next one is revenue for government. What did I say? Revenue government. Here we are talking about money, because governments are making money from these resources. Some when they refine it, some at their raw state, as the way they got it, they sell it to those that are in need of it, and government is getting money from it and is providing. That is why the Nigeria government is solely depending on some of our resources before they can make their budgets. Whatever they can make, the resources they get per year, that one determines how the budget will be. If they cannot get much, take for instance from petroleum, it's now dictating the kind of money they will give to develop the country, or they will give to other levels of government. In one word, revenue for government is another importance of natural resources in national development. Next one is social development. Here we have talked about it when I was explaining social development. We have other facilities that governments are providing for the citizens. They are making life easy for the people living in the country. It's as a result of these resources, the money they get from the resources. Now it's time to test if truly you have given me 100% attention in today's lesson. Evaluation time, activity time. Good. I have just 2 questions. Question number 1. Explain the following with one example each. Explain the following with one example each. 1. Renewable natural resources. 2. Non-renewable natural resources. Question number 2. Write 2 importance of natural resources in national development. Write 2 importance of natural resources in national development. You have just 40 seconds to do this. Your time starts now. Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is here. I believe you are still there. So let's mark together. The first question. Renewable natural resources are those resources that cannot finish or get reduced through usage. Example, you were asked to give one example, ocean or sunlight, any of the two. And second question, non-renewable natural resources are those resources that can be reduced and therefore can finish as a result of usage, e.g. petroleum, gold, or any of the examples that we discussed today. The second question writes to importance of natural resources in national development. We talked about infrastructural development, employment, foreign exchange, and so on. Mark accordingly and rate yourself. I think you have very simple questions today. So those that got the 2 questions correctly, you deserve to be given a chair. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Until next time, next lesson, Uncle Popo says, keep on studying. Bye.
Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At LASUBEB, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.
My wonderful pupils, we have come to the end of another exciting episode on The Classroom in Your Home.
An exciting one it has been indeed for us, and we hope that you have found it interesting as well as we dish out interesting lessons in mathematics, English studies, and of course general studies. Now that you are done for the day, we hope that you have been able to find the synergy between what we teach you here and what you're learning in your classrooms.
Yes.
For further practice, you have our online assessment. For today, you can access it via the link bit.ly/LASUBEB lesson 83. Link again is bit.ly/LASUBEB lesson 83. Or perhaps you want to take a revision course on all the lessons that we have done, then you can check out our online catalog using the link bit.ly/LASUBEB tests. Remember, we monitor these assessments to help you improve on your performance.
Taking the online assessment is based on if you have access to either your daddy's, your mommy's, your uncle's, or your auntie's Android or smartphones. If not, you don't have a problem. Just send your questions, your comments, and your assignments to 081 50 86 5663. Please do not call that number. SMS and WhatsApp messages only. And when you're sending in your assignment, make sure you indicate your name,
your school,
your class,
and your local government education authority, your LGA. That is the only way we'll be able to identify you and appraise you accordingly.
I believe we all enjoyed today's lessons like the previous ones. All these lessons are on Lagos UBEB YouTube channel for you to watch again at your own preferred time. Subscribe to Lagos UBEB YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. This program, Classroom in Your Home, could be watched live on Facebook, the same time airing on television, through the page showing on the screen.
Till our next lesson, when we shall meet again, please do your homework.
Remember to wash your hands regularly.
Work hard, revise your schoolwork, and above all,
Stay safe.
Because at LASUBEB,
We leave no child behind.